Hello guys, so this is Rishikesh from Coding Geeks and today we are gonna do bubble sort and count sort. So let's get right at it. Initially we will be doing bubble sort. Bubble sort is a very basic brute force type of a algorithm and it has time complexity of O of n square for all of its cases, that is minimum, maximum and average, since it's just plain brute force. So now what's gonna happen is that we are gonna work with this pseudo code that I have built in my mind, and I'll be explaining what exactly happens when you implement this bubble sort. So I'll be having here I as a counter of how many elements have been sorted in the end. That is, from we are gonna be sorting elements from the back. That is, we'll be sorting it like 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 from right to left. What we are going to do is iterate till only those values till which it hasn't been sorted. So you will get what I mean in this process. So let's get started. We are going to compare j and j plus 1 values, and we are going to check if the j value is greater than j plus 1's value. If it is, then we will swap, and if it isn't, we will just pass on and move on to the next loop. Next number, essentially. So 3 and 4 are being compared here, and we realize that 3 is less than 4. So nothing happens. The same happens here, 4 is less than 5, but in this case, 5 is greater than 2. So the swapping takes place here. So this is what's going to happen. Now j again increases by 1, 5 and 6 are being compared, but essentially we can see here directly that 5 is less than 6, so it's not going to happen. But in this case, 6 is greater than 1, so it's going to get swapped, and this is it. J's first loop has been completed, and now I is set to 1. The I is set to 1 because now the last value, that is the first value from right, has been sorted, and we will be just iterating till the fourth element, and j plus 1 element will be compared, so fifth element will also be included in it. So now again we go with the same thing, we compare them. We can see here that 3 and 4 there is no swapping, but in 4 and 2 there will be swapping. The swap occurs. Now j is incremented by 1 again. 4 and 5 no swap. 5 and 1 there will be one swap because 1 is less than 5. This happens, and this is end for j, and it's now gonna turn I equal to 2, and j will again start from the beginning. 3 and 2. Now 3 and 2 is gonna get swapped because 2 is obviously less than 3. So that happens. Then j is incremented by 1, then 3 and 4, so 3 is less than 4, it doesn't happen. J is now gone to the third value, that is 4, and 4 and 1 are being compared, and 1 is less than 4, so they are going to get swapped. So this becomes 1 and 4. And now I is equal to 3, since the last 3 values have been sorted. Now J again starts from the first one. Now 2 and 3 are being compared. We will see that 2 is less than 3, so there is no need to swap. But here 3 is greater than 1, so they are going to get swapped. This becomes 1 and 3. J again starts from initial, and I becomes 4 since the 4 values from the right have been sorted. J is now essentially comparing 2 and 1, and now we can obviously state it that yeah, they're going to get swapped, and that happens. So now I equal to 5. Now, in the end, I increases to 6. There is no need to increase I to 6 because now we know that the last 5 values have been sorted. So essentially, the first value is the minimum. And that's how you sort with bubble sort. And this is how bubble sort goes about. Now we will be just implementing this exact thing that has happened here in C++. So let's get right at it. I'm gonna give an element, initialize an element, which is gonna take in the number of elements that are gonna be in their array, and this is the array of the same size, and I'm just gonna put this here. This is what it's gonna do is accept n values, get r1, get rr, and in parentheses ARR. So essentially it's going to put all the values that it gets into this particular array. Now for the bubble sort algorithm, so we initialize for int I equal to 0 I and for g and g plus plus. And if what was the condition? If ARR of g is greater than ARR of g plus 1, then swap. I have also initialized a particular macro here, right here, on line number 6, which will be swapping it, and I don't have to write it all down, avoiding all the tedious work. And I guess that's that. So this is gonna sort our whole array, and now I'm just gonna put ARR, and this is it. I have also defined a macro here, so that all the values that there are in the array are gonna be put out. So this is done. We'll just test if this is working. Okay, it works. And let's see what happens now. Okay, yeah. So it has essentially sorted the whole of the array that are inputted, and now it's working fine. So bubble sort is done here. Now we are going to proceed to count sort. Count sort is a very interesting sorting method because it is based on memoization. So you could say that this is start of your DP, but there are certain limitations to count sort. It has a time complexity of O of n plus k. I'll tell you what this O of n plus k is. But the limitation to count sort is that you cannot sort any kind of other elements. Like besides integers, you cannot sort it double, float, character values, and such things. You cannot sort them in this particular sorting method because it utilizes some storage, memory storage, and you'll see what I mean here. So what's gonna happen? I'm gonna find the max value in my array, assuming that the array has only non-negative integer values. I'm just gonna initialize an array of that particular size. So for knowing what exactly this is gonna be like, I'm just gonna change a few elements here. So this is it. So 3, 4, 10, 2, 20, and 1. So what's gonna happen here is that I'm gonna initialize an array of size 21, so that what is gonna happen, we are gonna store this count of the numbers that have occurred. So you'll see what I mean. Okay. So 3, 4, 10, 2, 20, oh wait, 20 and 1. So what's gonna happen is that, right, okay, so it finds the maximum element among these. Oh my god, okay. It finds the maximum among these and it initializes an array of that maximum element plus one size. And it does so that whenever it encounters any element while iterating, it's gonna just store a value in it. So what's gonna happen when I first encounter 3? uh, I'll be storing in the particular, let's say, total array I have initialized of size 21, and in this one there are going to be values like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so on and so forth. So this is going to be there, and when I encounter 3, what I'm going to do is that all the values are set to 0 initially. Okay, and when I encounter 3, what's gonna happen? I'm just gonna do +1 here. When I encounter 4, I'm gonna do another +1. When I encounter 10, I'll just write here 10 and here 0. I'm gonna just increase it to 1, increase by 1 essentially. So now I encounter 2, I'm gonna increase it by 1, and I'll be encountering 20. So what I'll be doing is increasing 1. I think you get what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to count the occurrences of the numbers that there are. So what's going to happen is that after I have created this whole list and I'm done with it, after iterating through the given array, I'm done with it. And now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put out all of these elements in an array and just put them out and output them essentially. So we see that 0 has no occurrences, so I'm not going to put 0 in that array. But 1 has one occurrence, so I'll put here 1. 2 has one occurrence, so I'll put here 2. So 3 has 1, 4 has 1, and so on and so forth. And we'll realize that there is also 10 and there is also 20. And now we have gotten a sorted array in this. But remember that count sort can only be used for integers. You can modify this algorithm to store even negative integers, not just non-negative integers. And yeah, that's the only limitation that CountSort has. Besides, it is a good algorithm with linear time complexity. So let's start with it. I'm just gonna write here the same. Okay, so let's get started with the implementation of CountSort. Int of n, since you know we'll be taking in the value of how many numbers will be entering. So for that, and then int of year of n, and I'll be just using my macro here to take in the values and put them in the array ARR. And now I'm gonna find the maximum element. I can simply do it by max equal to max of element and just put ARR comma ARR plus n minus 1, but I'll be using the standard method, like the basic method, to solve this one and get the maximum value. I'll just int max equal to okay, wait, what happened? Okay. Yeah, so I'm initially setting it to minimum value so that I can find the maximum in the array. I think you get that logic. Int of I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, and I'll be checking for one condition. Okay, what here? Okay, yeah. So I'll be checking for one condition, that is if max is less than AR, ARR of I, then I will set max equal to ARR of I. Right, this is pretty basic, right? So we get the maximum value after this iteration, and now I'll be iterating through whole of the array all over again, so that okay, wait, I'll just initialize the total array that I have to initialize in order to get everything in it and count the occurrences. I am setting it all to value 0 initially so that I don't get any garbage value shit. So that, and yeah, okay. So now I'm just gonna iterate through the ARR, that is the array that we have been given as an input, and I'll be putting in, I mean incrementing the occurrences as and when they come across it, across my condition loop. So okay, I plus plus, and then right. So total of ARR of I plus plus. Okay. So this will increment it and store all the values, and finally I'll be just iterating through this. Int I equal to 0, I less than max plus 1, and I plus plus. I'm just gonna put the while loop here so that I can know if the value of that particular element, like consider this here, value of value of 3 in this case, in this above case, is 1, right? But the value of 0, 1, no, 1 has value 1, so I'll be writing that here, and 1 and 1. I think this is it. Huh. So whenever I encounter 0, it will just not perform this while loop and just go out of it and just go to the next number. And whenever it encounters a particular loop wherein there is a particular 1 or 2 or 3 or any other number besides 0, it will simply iterate through it and be inputting all the occurrences. So what's going to happen here is that error place equal to I. Now the place thing, I'm going to initialize it up here, place equal to 0. What's going to happen is that every time you enter any kind of number into the array, the place will increment by 1, and it will be allowing you to put the next value in the next order of the array. So consider this 1, 3, 4 is here. I encounter 0. I see there is 0 in it, so I do nothing. I just go to the next number. I encounter 1. I see that it is a non-zero value, so I'll be going through this loop. And when I do that, the ARR thing will be like this: 1 will be written down over there. Now the place will increment by 1, so we'll be essentially moving on to the next uh, index, and we'll be storing there the next number that we encounter from total. Since 2 is also 0, we are not going to do anything about it, but 3 is non-zero, so we are going to input 3, and so on and so forth. So there will be 4, and there will be 5, and there will be 10, okay, and 20. So this is what it's going to look like finally. Okay, so after all of this is done, I'll just put out the array and let's see if it works. I hope there isn't any kind of mistake. So, okay, I'll be trying to execute the sample test case, and yep, it works a-okay. Now I hope that you have understood what this count sort and bubble sort do. Remember that the count sort is not applicable for any kind of a float, double, or character type of values. It doesn't really go with that. If you want to try, you can, but it will get complicated if you try to implement it for them. So that's it for now, and thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment on the video below, and please let us know if you have any doubts or you want any other things to be posted up here. And follow our Telegram and Instagram. We have a group on Telegram named Coding Geeks, and we help people there. So yes, that's it. Thank you.